What's going on, guys? Boy Joey 672 with my boy Philly Jim here. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys 17-9.
Oh yeah,
Eagles are still alive. One more to go.
Winning, baby.
One more to go. And I've lost half of my voice because I actually did a video with my car before, so not going to be screaming. But
yeah, I mean, I just want to say, man, it's good. It's good to be back on the Read and React show. Welcome to the post game show. Great team win. It wasn't pretty, but as they say, ugly win is always better than a pretty loss. So there's a lot of good, and there was some bad in this game. But yeah, I'm excited to be here and talk about it tonight.
Yeah. So Carson Wentz, 31 of 40. I think he had over 319 yards, something like that.
Phenomenal game.
Hell of a game from Carson Wentz today. This and like I think he talked about, and we kind of talked about as well, that this was going to be like, this was a pretty important game for him. And you know, week 7 was the last time I played the Cowboys. Totally different spot now. Totally different time of this year, of the season, to where we were dealing with so many injuries, and we were still playing the veteran card. We weren't letting the young guys play, and you know, we were hoping that Sean was going to come back, and so much other stuff was going on at that time. But we get into this game, and we start out. It seems like we had a good balance between the run and the pass, and a fresh wide receiver core with it. You know, with Greg Ward still making plays. Who's the other guy? I keep forgetting his name. I said it. I made a
Rob
video.
Davis.
Him as well. And he made, I think, a catch. I think one catch. I'm not sure if he made more than one. But he got into the mix, too. Everybody got into the mix today. Scoring, 10 in the beginning, and then kind of just, seeing what we were getting later on. But I was really, really happy with how this team, played and really fought, especially with the defense. I think Jim Schwartz did a pretty good job from what he had defensively. I think the pressure was good. I think we could have got a little bit more pressure today, but I thought, when the guys had to come in and make plays, they did. Sidney Jones making that big play on Michael Gallup in the end zone, that was huge. We just talked about before. You said, Jalen Mills went out. And guys were going, Fletcher Cox went out. They were like, oh my God, the season's going to be over. We're getting a little nervous, blah, blah, blah. So this all happens, and at the same time, like, the offense gets over the 50-yard line, and then there's a penalty. Over the 50-yard line, 3rd and 1, we get a penalty. 3rd and 1, we can't convert on 3rd and 1. We had a hard time converting on 3rd and shorts, and we went for it on 4th down, couldn't get it. Some of the passes were, overall, Carson had a great game. Whatever it is, it is. Everything's not going to be perfect, but, we'll get to the other side, the Cowboys. We'll get to that side because, that's a totally different story. But what did you think about this? Just the offensive defense. Go for it, whatever you want to say.
Offense. Okay, let's start with the offensive side. I actually really liked what I saw from the offense in terms of, the plays, and I thought it was good execution out there today. We ran some good offense. We had a lot of yards. I think we had well over 400 total yards of offense in this game. But the problem was Jake Elliott, I don't know why we fucking resigned this guy. This guy missed 3 field goals, I think, in this game. And when he missed the first, I was like, okay, he missed, but next time he'll just shake it off and he'll probably nail the next one. It's all good. Missed the second one, that's when I lost my shit. And he missed the third one. So that goes. So before we went live, I said, hey, I like the way that this offense played, but we left a lot of points on the board. I was just telling one of my buddies, I feel like we should have scored anywhere from 23 to 30 points in this game. I feel like we should have scored 30 points in this game, if I'm being
true. Oh, yeah, 100%.
There was another play, and it's not just Jake Elliott missing field goals. There's a screen pass to Dallas Goedert where he breaks a big gain, and he gets down to the 20-yard line of the Cowboys. And the play is called back due to Jason Peters, who did a block in the back on Jeff Heath. Jeff Heath was nowhere near the play. He was completely out of the play. It was not necessary to do that. I think if that play holds up and Peters doesn't, block in the back there, I think we score a touchdown on that drive. So Carson Wentz, I think, played, in my opinion, I think this was his best game of the season.
Oh, hell yeah.
By far. 31 of 40, completed 78% of his passes, was really from the start of the game, from the first drive, you could tell that he was locked in and he wanted to prove that he could go out and win this game. And he did. He played his ass off. He had one fumble late in the game, and he's got to fix that shit with the ball security and the fumbling and stuff. But he rose to this occasion. I'm very proud of what Carson Wentz did. I'm very proud of what these young guys did. Miles Sanders. I want to get to Miles Sanders real quick. So I just read this online. So Miles Sanders had 156 total yards, doing it all, catching and running. Had some big explosive plays today. Had 172 last Sunday at Washington. So he is the first rookie running back that has put up those numbers in back-to-back games since none other than Ezekiel Elliott. So it's like I've been saying the whole year, this guy is a special player. This guy is an every down running back. The knock on him coming out of Penn State was he can't block. Well, he can block. He can pick up the blitz. There was one play that I really noticed with Miles Sanders. Boston Scott actually got the carry, and he had a really good block on the perimeter that let Boston get some extra yards. So this guy can do it all. He's explosive, catching and running. I was very impressed by all these kids, all these young guys. Greg Ward with that huge 38-yard gain in the third quarter that put us in a really good position. So I'm very impressed with what I've seen from this offense. Young, hungry dogs all over this offense.
Yeah, like you're talking about Miles Sanders. My God, like the vision. And he always just makes the first guy miss all the time. And there was a play like it didn't really go. It went for a few yards. Like he threw it to the side. It was a little dump off pass, and he walks up and he just does his little juke move, and that's really it. And it makes the first guy miss, get the extra yards. Boston Scott as well. I mean, I'm liking, for some reason, like with Jordan Howard out of the mix, I'm really liking the speed in this backfield. And you're putting both these running backs as wide receivers on the field as well. So if you want to take a wide receiver out that started, you could put a running back at wide receiver. You could do so many different combinations with these guys, and it's awesome to see. It's like I said, when this whole thing started, when you start getting these young guys to play, it's like a breath of fresh air with all this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think when Fletcher Cox went down, we were like, oh my God, and then he came back, we're like, whew, and then all of a sudden,
that was close.
2 plays later, Ezekiel Elliott runs up the middle. We think they're going to score a touchdown soon and forces a fumble, and we jump on it. And that was a very, very important play. It really was.
Oh, yeah. Now that you mentioned that, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you real quick.
You're good.
When that play happened, I was losing my fucking shit because it reminded me of last year when we played the Cowboys and they said that there was no clear recovery. It looked like the exact same play all over again. I was like, dear God, please don't let this be a no clear recovery again. Because this time we're at home. We're not in Dallas, Texas. Like these fans will be waiting for the refs in the parking lot. So they called it right, but I just had to say that real quick.
No, that's fine, dude, because and then I think it was and I was like, oh, is there a clear recovery? I'm like, oh no, don't even do this shit again like it was last year with the clear recovery bullshit. I was waiting for us to get screwed. The refs actually played a pretty good game today. I have to say, they actually let the guys play today. Surprisingly, there really wasn't anything that was out of the ordinary, but it was a pretty clean game other than a few penalties. It was just pretty much one turnover the whole game. So, what I liked about Carson Wentz as well is that Carson Wentz is not sitting in the pocket for too long, and
he's using his legs.
And as soon as he sees that nobody is open now, he just gets the yards. He literally just goes up and he just dives for as many yards as possible, and that's what we need to get out of him. He can't sit in the pocket like he did, losing the football. I mean, that's just not. It's not good. I know that on one series, I think Samalo. The left guard Samalo, he missed a block, and Carson, got the ball off in time for a little screen pass. And then I think a play or two later, Big V had a little bit of a between Robert Quinn and DeMarcus Lawrence. I think he had a little bit of trouble. He blew a play up. Thank God Carson, he threw the ball. Everyone they thought they fumbled the ball, but we didn't. So I know that Big V was going to have a little bit of trouble, but not too bad. He actually had a pretty solid day. Then maybe 2 plays where it would look pretty bad, but I think it was, I think the offensive line held up, and the Eagles threw a lot of screen passes today. It was a lot of screen passes, and you know what? There were some plays that worked, some plays that didn't. But when it comes to these receivers, even these tight ends. Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert comes in. What do you got? He had 13 catches for 90 yards. I mean,
career high.
Carson has that, throws it up. And then, Goddard uses that big size, the big body that he has, his long arms. I mean, he goes up and catches that ball. He did it twice. And it's like we didn't miss a beat when Zach Ertz wasn't really playing or wasn't really – I think he only had like 23, something like that. It wasn't much. So
yeah, Dallas really tried to make it a point earlier in the game that they wanted to take Ertz away because they know Ertz is their best weapon. But little do they know, Dallas Goedert is also a starting caliber tight end, and he made things happen. Had a career high 13 catches in this game, had the touchdown, had one great catch along the sideline late in the game. So yeah, Goddard really showed up, even though Dallas thought they could take away Ertz. Goddard got after their linebackers and their safeties and whatnot, and had a good game.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I'm proud of this team the way they played it, and that crowd was into it today. I was hearing the chant. I wish I was there. I couldn't make it, but unfortunately, I couldn't make it. But it was just awesome just to just hear the crowd and just to really get into it. There was the crowd. We had the team's back today. If you were home or if you were at the stadium, we had their back today.
It's actually funny that you say that because actually last night at the Philadelphia 76ers game, they were playing the Wizards. At that game, fans were chanting "Dallas sucks."
Yeah.
At the Sixer game,
That's
so
funny.
I think when that happened, I think people pretty much know this crowd was going to be fucking nuts at that game, and then the crowd really brought the energy, and I was kind of making jokes during the game. Dallas Goedert was balling out. I was like, wow, Dallas is out here making shit happen, and people are chanting "Dallas sucks." I wonder if he takes offense to that. But it was great, man. This crowd was crazy. Playing in Philadelphia, especially in this time of year, which is why I wouldn't have felt as good about this game if it were in Dallas at all.
Right.
All week long, I said, since we're in Philly, I think things are going to be different. Team, this is not a place you want to play. So, yeah, I mean, the crowd brought the juice, and like I said, really set the tone. Even last night at the Sixer game, really brought the energy to the Eagle game.
If you guys haven't, I just put down. Please subscribe to Philly Jim's channel on YouTube. If you guys, I really do appreciate you guys subscribing. Give the guys support. I really do appreciate it. We're trying to get this thing going with the Read and React show. Philly Jim he covers the Sixers, covers the Eagles, does all Eagle draft, free agency, you name it, pretty much.
Pretty much for the off season, man. We got something.
It's going to be very interesting. So I really do appreciate you just subscribe to Philly Jim and give them the support. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much, by the way. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's move on. Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. Great performance from the Philadelphia Eagles defense. So I was telling one of my buddies of mine during the game, look, this defense is completely different at Lincoln Financial Field than it is on the road. This defense gives up 17 points per game at home, or 17 points or less the last 5 home games, and they held Dallas to 9 games. And don't let the stats fool you with Dallas. Yes, Dallas has a lot of firepower, but a lot of the number 1 overall offense and stuff is due to a lot of garbage time stats. Dak Prescott is the garbage time king. That's why he's leading in passing yards and shit. But that's besides the point. They still have Ezekiel Elliott. They still have Amari Cooper. They still have Mike Trout. They still have Randall Cobb. They still have Blake Jarwin. Blake Jarwin is actually better than Jason Witten. So
Oh yeah,
that's on the coaches for not giving him more playing time. But my point is they still got firepower and they still should be able to score. But these guys made it a straight up point to stop Ezekiel Elliott. I was really impressed with Josh Sweat, his speed off the line.
oh yeah.
One play where they give the ball to Zeke and Zeke, it looks like he's being real patient with it and trying to wait for something to develop. And then all of a sudden, Josh Sweat is in there in a blink of an eye, and he tackles him for a loss. Zeke was getting tackled. He had a few good runs in this game, but for the most part, I think the Philadelphia Eagles held him
under 50.
I think they held him under 50 yards. That was what I was getting ready to say. So they shut down Ezekiel Elliott. Dak was rattled. He didn't know what to do. He was missing guys that were wide open. So was he hurt or was he just rattled? I think he was just rattled. I don't think the whole shoulder thing. I really think the whole shoulder thing was a big ass hoax. But since he really didn't perform, all the Cowboy fans are going to say is, well, he was hurt and stuff like that. I'm not buying it. I didn't buy it from the start. But I am very impressed with his defense. I was nervous, admittedly, when Jalen Mills came out of the game because I knew – and Ronald Darby was already out of the game. So I knew that meant Rasul Douglas was coming into the game, and I knew that Sidney Jones was coming into the game. And when we got absolutely bombed by the Minnesota Vikings, those were the starting corners. So, of course, I'm going to be nervous about that. But I gotta take my hat off to Sidney Jones on fourth down. It reminded me so much of the playoff game and even in the opener last season where Julio Jones has a chance to go up and make this catch. But Sidney Jones rose to the occasion. I've been bashing Sidney Jones all year.
Right.
I expected him to have a big season, but when it mattered the most and we needed that play, Sidney Jones rose to the occasion. He made that play. So Jim Schwartz, great game plan. It was executed to perfection. Sidney Jones, in my opinion, that's the play of the game right there.
Yeah, no, because I was getting really nervous. We got nervous soon, like we said before, when Sidney Jones got into the game, but that was a huge play. It was, and then the booth challenged it for PI call. I'm like, don't even tell me you're going to screw us now in this game. Let the boys play. Let the boys. He didn't hold. He went after the football. Right. But as for the rest of it, Malcolm Jenkins made some plays. You had guys on that defense side. Derek Barnett had a little bit down. He could have sacked Dak Prescott in the backfield. He kind of he had his hands on him. He missed him. So I know his first game back because I think he was questioned. I didn't think he was even going to play this week. I didn't really check the injury report later on. I didn't get a chance to see it, but. Anthony Rush got in the backfield, a practice squad turned active roster. Another guy brought up. Anthony Rush got to the backfield a few times. Vinny Curry got his third sack of the year. So, or third or fourth sack, something like that. So everyone really got their hand in this game. Avonte Max, I think they threw to Michael Gallup, like a little dump off, a little side pass to Michael Gallup, and Avonte Max jumped in front of it. So, guys made plays. They really did. You're going to win some. You're going to lose some. Jalen Mills too. There were a few times where things could have got a little ugly with some passes, and thankfully they didn't hit their targets. But I thought the pressure was pretty good for what I know. The Cowboys offensive line. I forgot which. There was two guys. There was two guards. I think that were hurt. They were getting replaced, and they had a little bit of trouble with injury wise on the offensive line. So as of right now, Jim Schwartz handled his defense perfectly, very well. Before this game even started, I was like, I'm gonna really see what Jim Schwartz has. I really want to see Nigel Bradham. He was all over the damn field today, and Jim Schwartz earlier in the week talked about Nigel Bradham, making plays that he has to play well. Brandon Graham has to play well. These guys have to play well. Nathan Gary has not really been playing that well coverage wise. He hasn't been really doing too good. But as a defensive whole, I thought they held them off pretty nicely. I think they made the plays that were very important, and I think we got the Dak. We got to him a few times. We kept Ezekiel Elliott under 50 yards, Amari Cooper has had a bad right knee for weeks, so Michael Gallup was going to be that speed guy with Tavon Austin as well. So you really just, they played a really good game defensively. I really can't complain. I'm happy. I'm just really happy that all these guys. I love when a lot of these guys make plays, especially the guys that we're really not high on, like Sidney Jones anymore. We know he sucks, but when he comes in, it's like when he comes in, he always makes that play. He did it a couple times already. So it's nice to see that someone could step in, make a play. And I think we feel better when the corners are closer to the end zone than they are further away, because I feel like they're better because they don't have too much field behind them. So I feel like we play better in some way like that. But overall, I think Jim Schwartz did fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great game. So finally beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys have pretty much been owning us, but I think a game like this, where everything was at stake, I think this can turn the tide in this rivalry. And going forward, Carson Wentz has a lot more confidence. You can see that he's playing with a lot more confidence. He's won 3 games in a row, and where if you lose, you're done. It's over. And he's done it 3 times in a row. So 3 playoff type of games where, playoff stakes on the line. So winning, you're in next week, and we'll really get to see what Carson and this young team, these young players can do against Seattle or San Francisco or whoever we may draw in the wild card round.
Yeah. So with the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, he couldn't hit his targets. His receivers didn't even want to catch the ball for him. He threw the ball behind, in front. There were some guys that were wide open, and he threw the ball too high.
Oh, yeah.
There was the one that the Tavon Austin passing by Rasul Douglas, that would have been a touchdown. Amari Cooper just sitting there, and he throws the ball like he's 8 feet tall. Dak Prescott,
it was horrible.
It was horrible, and this is not just because it's a rivalry, but he looked like shit. He looked horrible. Not even a touchdown.
I think Dak lost some money. I think he lost some money in this game, to be honest. I mean, the Cowboys were really reluctant to pay him before. After you saw Jared Goff get paid, you saw Carson Wentz get paid. But after this game, man, I don't know. I don't know if the Cowboys I think they're going to be even less reluctant to pay him now. I think what's going to happen, what you're going to see happen is Dak is going to get a franchise tag.
Yeah.
And next year, he's basically going to have a career year again. This year is technically his career year. But it's like I said, people were getting caught up in Dak, and people were pounding the table, and you had talking heads like Skip Bayless and Max Kellerman. And Stephen A. Smith were actually in Philly at Chickies and Pete's on Friday. And, he was pretty much ripping Carson Wentz in front of the fans, and fans pretty much let old Maximilian have it on that. But that's besides the point. You got all these talking heads that are beating the table. Dak, he can rally the troops, and he can get his team to play for them, and blah, 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 blah. And, Carson's team doesn't play for him, and Dak does this, and Dak's leading the league in passing. This guy's leading the league in passing because most of the games that he's played, he's been playing from behind. He is the king of garbage time fucking stats. Okay? So I never got caught up in the whole Dak Prescott bullshit, and I certainly was never sniffing crack rocks like some of these people did to the point where they were saying, Carson Wentz was a bust in all of this, and Dak Prescott was, leaps and bounds better than Carson Wentz.
Right.
So these people were sniffing crack. I don't know where they get their crack rocks from, but it must be from some kind of different planet or whatever. Wherever they get them from, they're sniffing some shit, and it was evident today.
Yeah. I mean, Oh my God! Like I just some of these passes that I was seeing today. I'm just like there's no act. They're coming off a game where they literally beat the Rams. They scored 40 on the Rams.
They blew
They
their
beat
load against the Rams, and they came out flat against them,
yeah,
which was pretty
and
predictable.
right, and like they beat a team above 500 for the first time, and the Cowboys are back and we're ready to go, and they're ready for this run, and all this stuff was happening, and
Didn't happen.
they came. I don't know if they came to this game pumping their chests or whatnot. I don't know what the case was because they should have not. They think that this was the same team from week 7, and it's not. And in our eyes, it's not. We're not just saying it because they played a good game. We're saying it because as soon as the Eagles stopped, had this favoritism on veterans, and they were going out and getting guys that used to be on this team, like they just you let the young guys play, and then you see what you see. And it's not even just that, but you can't be so cautious. I'm not even cautious anymore when Carson Wentz runs with the football anymore. Like I don't even care. It's like it's over, it's done with. That was the off season, that was preseason, whatever it is. It is what it is. But
Right.
as for the Cowboys, like they're going to be dealing with a lot of shit. I mean, half of them that I talk to, especially some on YouTube, think they're going to have 90-something million dollars in cap space. I don't know why. They're all saying that. I don't know how. I don't know why. Amari Cooper is going to be on the outs. Byron Jones is probably going to be on the outs. And then the clapper, Mr. fucking Clap, Jason Garrett himself could be on the outs as well. So,
he's definitely going to be on the outs. And I just got to say, I understand where Cowboys fans are coming from because Jason Garrett is the most, in my opinion, he's the most uninspiring, incompetent dude in the history of mankind. Like, I don't know how this guy has been coaching in the National Football League for as long as he's been coaching. But the problem with the Dallas Cowboys really isn't even, it really isn't even about Jason Garrett. Yes, Jason Garrett appears to be the biggest problem, but the real biggest problem, that's Jerry Jones. If you look at what Jerry Jones has done with this Cowboys team since the 90s, when they had their glory days and won the Super Bowl, and Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin and all those guys, he had a huge fallout with Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy Johnson was a coach that he didn't give a fuck, and he would get in players' asses. And something happened, and Jerry didn't want him to have all that power. So same shit happened when Bill Parcells coached the Dallas Cowboys. Same thing happened when Wade Phillips coached the Cowboys. These are no nonsense. I don't put up with your shit, my way or the highway type of coaches. And Jason Garrett is the exact opposite, which is why Jason Garrett has stuck around as long as he has. So Cowboys fans tend to believe like all their problems are going to poof when they get a new coach. It's not going to happen. The Cowboys are going to get someone that Jerry approves of. And whoever they get, they'll probably be more competent than Jason Garrett is, because it's like I said, Jason Garrett is the most incompetent, uninspiring coach to ever coach a sport ever. So it's not really hard to be better than Jason Garrett. But don't think you're going to get like some great coach that's going to fix everything for you. So, I mean, it's just not going to happen. They're going to get a guy that Jerry approves of. So, in reality, the real problem is never going to stop. It's never going to go away until someone ceases control of the entire organization away from Jerry Jones. Who knows when that will happen.
Yeah. And we were the total opposite of that before Doug Peterson came. We gave the coach all the power, and look where that ended. I mean, that ended up in a Super Bowl for us. Chip Kelly fucking up his team ended us having Doug Peterson and getting into a Super Bowl within, with 2 years. I mean, and I thought it was going to be like a 3-4 year thing. So, like you said, the problem is never going to stop, because if it's not Jerry's guy, if it's not Jerry's guy, forget it. It's not gonna work. It's a yes man, bend over and take up the ass man. That's the kind of guy that Jerry Jones is. So,
yeah, there's a lot of guys that are being brought up for the Dallas coaching job, like Urban Meyer, who formerly coached at Ohio State, won some national championships there. The Oklahoma coach, Lincoln Riley, who almost coached 3 straight Heisman winners. Streak got snapped this year, but Jalen Hurts really had a good season in Oklahoma. Then you had Kyler Murray last year, and then the year before was Baker Mayfield. So the guy is really good at being a quarterback whisperer. But I feel like, isn't Jerry Jones going to get the fans' hopes up? And then, bam, fucking Kellen Moore is going to be the new coach. Because hear me out on this, because I know I might be reaching a little bit there. But because obviously the Cowboys are a huge brand in sports and they're America's team and all that shit. So Jerry's going to have to make some kind of splash this offseason. But isn't the writing on the wall for Kellen Moore, the young hotshot offensive coordinator, who earlier in the season Cowboys fans were claiming he was a god of a play caller? Isn't the writing on the wall for him to take over the job? Because hear me out on this. Ever since Sean McVay came onto the scene, teams have been obsessed with this young, pretty boy coach MO when they hire these coaches. So you saw with Sean McVay, you see it with Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur with the Green Bay Packers. That's the trend teams are looking at. So if shit hits the fan, they're going to hire Kellen Moore, who was playing in the NFL like a couple years ago, and the guy's like my age. So, I just think some shit's gonna hit the fan, and Cowboys might find a way to fuck this up.
Look at this game. Look at the difference between our team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and look at the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, they have everything on that offense, other than Amari Cooper being pretty much half hurt because he's
if
been
the Cowboys had our injuries, they'd be a 3-1 tops.
Mm-mm. We're out 6, 7 guys, starters, and seriously, practice. And we have practice squad. They just got beat by rookie/practice squad players. Pretty damn much.
Practice squad players were better than our starters. I mean, I'll take Whiteside, and I'll take Greg Ward over Nelson and Alshon every day of the fucking week.
And that's scary because at the same time, when Nelson and Alshon Jeffrey were playing, we saw how hurt Alshon Jeffrey was. He's got hurt 3 times. Nelson Aguilar has fucked up games for us. Game-winning possessions. Not even just that, but the fucking burner accounts, the bullshit behind the scenes, the bullshit that was happening. And
oh yeah, that reminds me. I read an interesting article the other day. Brandon Brooks basically put whoever the fuck was saying it on blast. Personally, I think it was Nelson Aguilar and Alshon Jeffrey. So I'm kind of paraphrasing here. So bear with me, but basically Brandon Brooks said, yeah, we have all these guys going to Josina Anderson and doing all this shit, but when the doors are closed and we have team meetings and this shit is brought up, zip, people aren't saying shit. People are quiet. So I look at that as Brandon Brooks pretty much looked at Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar and said, you guys are straight up cowards.
Yeah, if that's the case. But you notice since they've been gone, there's no bullshit. Nothing's been happening. That's the weird thing. They have been gone and nothing has really happened. No outside noise, no bullshit, all this drama, whatever the hell is going on is officially gone. Nelson is going to be a free agent after this year. We don't expect him to come back. Alshon Jeffrey, I will take the dead money. How much guaranteed that contract that Alshon Jeffrey does have. I don't mind taking all that dead hit. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But because between a heavy loaded draft class of wide receivers plus free agency wide receivers, the Eagles are going to take their pick regardless. So D-Jack's coming back. There's a whole Greg Ward is becoming something special. I think JJ needs more. He definitely needs more time. Definitely needs a lot more time. Needs more games. Needs more reps. Needs an off season with Carson Wentz. Carson has to get everybody together and get that thing going.
I said this in the last show, but in my opinion, the problem with Whiteside is not about his talent. It's about the fact that I don't think he knows the fucking playbook. So I think if he takes the offseason, studies the plays, he'll come back and he'll be a difference maker next year. And we saw in this game, we've seen it a couple games this year that he's played. The guy has showed flashes that he has the ability, but it's like he runs random routes and he doesn't know. He just acts like he doesn't know where he's supposed to be. So I think if he studies the playbook, he'll be a lot better next year.
Yeah. So this is what happens. You get injuries, you put in young guys, and then you see, hey, let's see what we have. I think the front office was a little cautious with the rest of the games that we did have, and pretty much was like, what should we do? You can't trade for anybody in the free agency. There's nobody out there. So, I mean, the only thing you could do is have these young guys play, and they've been playing. Even our third string tight end, he could play as well. I mean, I think he got targeted once. I think it was on that crucial third down play or fourth. I forgot what play it was. It was 4th and 6. It was 4th and 6. And I don't know, Wentz kind of overthrew Perkins on that ball. It was like a post corner or like a little slant in the middle of the field. But you have a pretty healthy third tight end as well. So these guys are getting reps now. So as for the Cowboys,
yep.
They looked horrible. I mean, Dak couldn't throw the ball. Never mind, some of these receivers are dropping balls, overthrowing receivers. I know Wentz for a fact he's not overthrowing any of these fucking receivers wide open. I mean, it's not happening. He pretty much had a whole offseason throwing to Deshaun Jackson. Okay, Greg Ward, it was a little bit of blown coverage, and Greg Ward went up, caught that long ball, and it was just great. And then yards after the catch is where he's really good, and he'll actually make somebody miss and get some extra. Not just going to catch the ball and fall down. Not going to pull a Zach Ertz on us. But they deserve to lose this game. they got owned this game. We came to play. So
yep.
I'm so happy about it. I really am. I was kind of questioning it, but at the same, that's why I didn't talk shit all week. I didn't say a fucking word all week because I'm not gonna put a target on my back. I have faith in my team, but I need to see this team not shoot themselves in the foot with stupid crap. And they shot themselves in the foot a few times going over the 50-yard line and just penalty. Then it drives them back to the middle of the field. And then Jake Elliott missing those field goals. That sucked. I'm going to give him I'll give Jake Elliott one more chance, but if he does that one more time where he's missing 2-3 field goals a game, he's got to go. He's got to at least have competition in the offseason.
I think we should bring in another kicker to push him. Even though he just got an extension, so I don't know how that's going to work. Kicker. He's a fucking kicker. I mean, it can't be that bad if we release him. I mean,
no.
Contract for a kicker.
The deal was 10. I think the overall deal was like $10 million, but I don't know how much was 8 guaranteed. I don't know what the hell it was. It's not much, so I don't even think it really freaking matters. But he's the third highest paid kicker in the league. So that's what pissed me off. We would have been another 6 points, whatever it is. So, that hurt. It did hurt. And then, once we were kind of 3 and out, we weren't getting these 3rd and shorts, and then with penalty, then it was 3rd and long. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we keep shooting ourselves in the foot going across the 50-yard line. It's just crazy sometimes. So, one more to go. One more. That's it.
When and we're in. So. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say. Great win. Really shut the Cowboys fans up. Cowboys fans have been talking shit for way too long. Swept us last year. That was their Super Bowl. Of course, we all know that. And then 37-10, that was their Super Bowl this year. And then it's over. So the Eagles, they earned this win. So we're all on top of the NFC East right now. And win, and we're in, guys. So great win and great show tonight. So thank all you guys for watching, and we will be back for another at least one more show for when we take on the Giants this week. So let's hope we get it done and get into the playoffs and see if things get interesting after that.
Yeah, I was watching that Giants-Redskins game today, and it was just back and forth, no defense at all. It was just a back and forth game pretty much. I think Giants won in overtime. Was it overtime? I don't remember. I didn't give it. The problem was that our game started and that game was still on. I was like, dude, who cares about these 3-10, whatever the hell they were? Like, who cares? So they kept the game on. But yeah. So I'm pretty much good. For the 44 of you that are in here right now, I do appreciate you guys sticking around and really hearing us out. I know you guys are happy as well as we are. One more to go, guys. That's it. One more to go, and we are division champs, and we are in. And I think here's the thing that I was thinking about after this win today. We can literally see, like, this is like a brand new offense because of all these different people that we do have. Can we exceed the limit of, we don't know how far this team can actually go, and how, like, if this chemistry gets better every week, could this team actually get further than our expectations right now just because of these hungry dudes in this offense, whether it's Boston Scott? Well, I mean, as of Miles Sanders, to be honest with you, Miles Sanders, I think he could literally run the ball by himself the whole game. I mean, I could really see that, but which is good. It's fantastic. But
every down back,
he looks like he could handle it, to be honest. But seeing these wide receivers and how hungry these other guys are with Wentz and trusting Wentz and Wentz commanding this offense, this team might actually go further than, I mean, it might sound crazy, but
yeah. I just want to throw one thing out there. So if the Eagles do win the division, there still hasn't been a repeat division champ. Dallas won last year, and we're probably going to win this year. But it'll be the first time for the Eagles that they have made the playoffs in 3 consecutive years since the year 2000, where from 2000 to 2004, they made the playoffs back to back to back to back. So I think making the playoffs every year and winning a playoff game every year, I think that speaks a lot to the culture of the Philadelphia Eagles. And when new players come in, they pretty much know, hey, we're expected to make the playoffs every year. We've made the playoffs every year for the last 3 years, and we're going to keep making the playoffs. So you got to bring your game and do what you're supposed to do so we can all get back to the playoffs. So I think that's something that you got to keep in mind watching this team play.
Yeah, I think the main thing that we do want is Wentz in a playoff game. I think that's absolutely a playoff appearance. That's what we want.
And we talk about that people
that's it.
Create a new narrative with this guy, and after this season, there's going to be something else with him. Before heading into this season, he's injury prone. Never played a playoff game. He's been bailed out by Nick Foles,
right?
And stuff like that. And he's not clutch. He can't get the job done. And I think he has pretty much debunked every single one of those narratives. The only one he hasn't debunked yet is he can't win a playoff game. If he wins a playoff game, then what are people going to say? People are still they're going to find some other shit to use against him. But the guy has no help, and he's flat out getting it done. I've been proud of him ever since the Seahawks game, the Patriots game, 2 really, really horrendous games by him. He has shown that he can do it. People talk about the Nick Foles magic. I think Carson Wentz has some Carson Wentz magic that he's been showing off for these last few games. So I've been very proud of him and how he's been able to rally this team to some victories.
I think we've seen down the road this season that we were kind of putting a lot on Carson Wentz. And I think Carson Wentz was trying to do so much in so many games by himself. But with the supporting cast that he had, and with this scheme that wasn't working with what he had, using them to their strengths, especially these receivers that weren't doing a damn thing, Carson was doing too much. Carson was making mistakes. Carson was making himself look bad. To the media, it was looking bad. On TV, it was looking bad. But now we're starting to figure out that Carson Wentz is a baller, and Carson Wentz is clutch, and Carson Wentz can lead a team, and people want to, guys want to play for Carson Wentz. And I think, I don't think this is still going to save Mike Rowe's job regardless. I don't think so, regardless.
Yeah, but I got to throw one more thing in there, though, because this just came to me.
Yeah.
People are – yes, we were putting a lot on Carson Wentz, but I feel like what people weren't really noticing enough, people don't watch this team as closely as the two of us do or Eagles fans do. So the media, they see things from a different perspective. But from what I saw this season early on, this team was doing the same thing they did last year. They were handicapping Carson Wentz, and they were like, "Oh, stay in the pocket so you don't get hit. Don't use your legs. Do you want to get injured again? Do you want to break your back again? Do you want to tear your ACL again?" There just came a point where they were doing that to him, and then there came a point where they were like, "You know what, dude? Fuck it. Go out there and be you." And you're seeing, I think, one player you can compare it to is with Lamar Jackson. They're not like telling Lamar to play some cookie cutter type of play style. They're just like, fuck it. Go out there, have fun, play the way you want to play. And I think that's what they did with Wentz. They were like, hey, this shit isn't working, so fuck the playbook. Go out there, do the plays you want to run, do it your way, go out there and have fun. And I think that's made all the difference for this team.
Yeah, I think that's where it makes a huge difference. And down where you gotta because I know like when things start to happen, you start freaking out like, why is this happening? What's going on? But I think you have to go through like at least the whole season or try to get to the end of the season to see where your faults are, where mistakes are being made, and you just start to see it. And it's not, we watch every game. We're not dumb. We see what we see, and we know how this offense has been running. It's not creative. To the point where defensive players are telling us of the other team are telling us that they know what plays we're running. That's not a good sign. So I think right now with this new receiver core, Boston Scott, with Miles Sanders in the backfield, Joshua Perkins as a third string tight end, you have guys that are hungry to go out there and make plays. And defensively, Jim Schwartz has coached these guys up and has, very well throughout the week to get prepared for some of these games. So I'm happy with it.
I got to say something. I got to say one more thing about Jim.
Go ahead.
Jim Schwartz has done a good job. And I actually would bring him back next year. And I've been off with Jim Schwartz, and I've said I don't want him back, and I do want him back, and I don't want him back, and I do want him back. I actually want him back, and what I would like to see is I think we have good players on defense, but I would like to see Jim Schwartz coach a defense that had some playmakers on the defensive side of the ball besides Cox. Like, I don't know, a ball-hawking safety. Give me a player like Earl Thomas. Give me a player like Jamal Adams on the back end.
Oh, God.
In the secondary. And I would like to see what Jim Schwartz can do, because I think with the guys that he's had, I'm not going to say some of these guys that we have are scrubs. Ronald Darby, he's a scrub. Jalen Mills, I don't think is a scrub, but I also don't think he's great or anything special. So I'm saying if you give him playmakers on the defensive side of the ball, great linebacker, great safety, great corner, whatever, I think this defense I think this defensive scheme has potential to really wreak some havoc.
Yeah, this is a defense without Malik Jackson. This is Malik Jackson, I think, being on this defensive line, getting hurt week 1 of the season, out for the rest of the year. Biggest free agent, I know it's your favorite free agent signing,
Yeah, he was.
as well. So that's huge. And you know what? Yeah, we're gonna have to upgrade at corner. Yeah, we're gonna have to maybe do something at linebacker, maybe a little bit, maybe do something. Who knows what's gonna happen? I'm not worried about that. All I'm worried about is winning next week, doing our thing. But in the background of all this, that what's going on right now, Deshaun Jackson is waiting.
Secret weapon.
I've been putting up videos about of his training. I guess whenever I see that he's training, or 6 weeks after, I think the last video I put up, I think it was 6 weeks after his surgery. He's moving around pretty damn good right now. I mean, working his ass off to come back. And he had I think we talked about it on the last stream. And it was like, I think it was last week or whatnot, talking about the a day or two after the last game or whatever it was. And could be back for his return. If you get Deshaun Jackson back first week of the playoffs, this offense turns into even better than it is. I know we're not throwing 50, 60 yards down the field. We're not doing that right now because, we really don't have that guy to go down there right now. But you get him back for the playoffs, and yeah, shit's going to happen, bro. Yep. Shit's going to happen.
So we'll just leave that at that. We'll leave that at that. But we got a secret weapon waiting. So
yeah. Other than that, I'm pretty much good. We'll be back Wednesday on the Read and React show on Philly Jim's channel. Talk about the Giants preview, the last game of the season, all for the marbles, all for the division, and that's pretty much it.
Business. All right, that's all I got to say, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Read and React show. Be back on Wednesday night when we're in. Really exciting stuff. Great win. This year's the most Philly Jim, and we'll see you guys later.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Shakes what up, fly will fly. Peace out, guys. Peace.